Hello everyone and welcome back to Belstead Lane. Today's video will be a fairly short layout update video just to bring you all up to speed and up to date on the layout. I haven't made a video in a few months now since I finished building the fiddle yard. I have made it standard practice to take regular breaks on the layout after completing long tasks, just so then I don't get burnt out. So after I finished laying the track on the fiddle yard, I decided just to take a step back on it because I had been working quite hard on it over a certain period of time, and then as time away from the layout went on, 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and it just went on from there. Time just flies stupidly quick nowadays for me, but I did end up coming back and continuing the progress, and as you can see, it has changed quite a lot since you guys last saw it. So I will be bringing you up to speed over the course of this video just to show you what I've been doing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, I'll get straight into it. So the biggest change to the layout is I've added in the track base for the scenic track work. So we've also got a complete loop, so it runs around all the entire room. So if I just come over here, we'll just follow it to where it meets up to the other side of the fiddle yard. And there we go, meets back up here. So this corner of the layout will be the countryside section. So trains will be running through a very long sweeping gentle curve here, which will eventually lead to a slight S-bend. So as you can see, it doesn't run parallel to the backboards, it goes more towards the centre of the baseboards before straightening up. And I just thought this would be a lot more interesting when watching the trains run by, rather than then just run parallel to the baseboard. The only downside to that is I did lose some scenic space on the front there, but there's still a bit of room behind the boards for a bit of a backdrop for the scenery. So I was happy with how that turned out. And then it continues this way, and then over in the corner, this is where I hope to build the Freightliner depot, or the depot on the layout. And it's certainly not the biggest board, there isn't a massive amount of room there, but I do have my ideas to try and make the most of it. And then over here, it runs back this way and then meets up with this side of the fiddle yard. Obviously, I had to do the backboards over here small enough to reach the window lever there to open it and close it. But I'm still happy with how it turned out. So the track deck is made out of 12mm plywood for the upright supports. And then I've also used some offcuts of CLS timber that I had laying around just to provide some more bracing to it. And then the top flat surface that the track will actually run on is 9mm plywood. And as you can see as well, I added a bit of white paint just to make it stand out more from the backboards. Obviously, this will all get covered by the track and the ballast and the scenery eventually. But it just gives something a bit nicer to look at rather than bare wood for now. The track deck for the two-track mainline section is around 7 inches wide, and this is plenty wide enough to get the two tracks on there and allow room either side to add the overhead masts. I did want as much room as I can, so I could have masts fitted on this section easily, but also not wide enough so then the track or the scenery can drop below it. And then I've also added some backboards in just so give a bit of boundary to the layout, and this will also have a back scene added in the future, so they run across the entire layout to the other side over there. These backboards curve along with the track just to make the scene look a lot more continuous. I didn't want a 90-degree angle at this side. Having the bend there turned out well, and as I said, it should make this scene a lot more continuous. And there will be a countryside type of back scene on there. I know the type of back scene I want, and I'm going to order it at some point in the near future. The backboards themselves are 15 inches tall, which is the same height as the back scene I plan to use. And I made sure that the cut area or the cut edge of the boards is facing down, so the smooth edge is at the top. And I was pleased as well with the amount of gap, so they line up quite nicely. The places where they don't quite meet 100% are pretty much covered by the track base anyway, so I didn't have to worry about those. And over here, the backboards pretty much had to be a right angle to allow enough room for the depot. Pretty much had no choice there. But I do have plans or an idea to try and make that the depot is part of a much bigger depot, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to try and model it as if it extends further than the back scene. So this part of the layout, which will have the depot win, will only be a small part of the depot. I do have my ideas. It's kind of hard to explain what I want to do to it on camera, but hopefully when I come around to building it in the future, you'll know what I mean. All the backboards had a coat of PVA glue added to them as well, just to give them a bit of a seal and protection. The shed this layout's in is fully insulated, and the temperature fluctuation isn't that bad at all, to be honest. But I certainly wasn't going to take any risks when building this layout, so I've made sure to give everything at least some sort of protection. So the backboards do have some PVA glue on them, and then these are now ready to have the back scenes added to them in the future. I added some fascias and backboards to the field yard as well, and this was done just by using some offcuts of the backboards that I had left over. So I'm happy I added these, give the field yard a bit more protection so trains won't get hit by the pool table when it's in use, by the queues and things, and also stops trains falling off the edges. And I also think it looks quite a lot more professional as well, having some backboards and fascias on the sides of the field yard. So I'm quite pleased with those. And then I also added an offcut of 12mm plywood on this corner of the layout just to provide a workbench area. There's plenty of room here for me to work on the layout in the future once I've given everything underneath a bit of a tidy up and a move around. I do have to sort a lot of stuff out that lives underneath the baseboards at the moment, but I'm glad I've now got a workbench here rather than keeping everything on the layout itself. So in terms of layout progress, that is pretty much it for now. The early stages of a layout build, like all the woodwork, is extremely long-winded. Really does take its time, especially if you're doing the method I've done with the open frame baseboards and raising all the track bed up. Certainly did take a long time, but I can now happily say that all the woodwork is now done, and I can start looking at laying all the track and the beginnings of the more fun parts of the layout. So the scenic track will begin over there, and then we've got a long sweeping curve running round to here, and then it will meet the S bend, and then over here it becomes 3 tracks. So I'll be having a third track here, which will be a siding and also a reversing road to access the depot. And then there'll also be a section of crossovers and point work here, because I want to make my own version or a scaled down version of Halifax Junction, which is just outside of Ipswich. And then coming round to here more, it will lead into the depot, which will occupy that board over there. And then the main line will continue curving round, following the curve of the top board. The scenic break will be around here. So I've also notched out a bit of the top board just to slot a piece of plywood in there to act as a support for it. And then I've also left a gap between the workbench and this piece of plywood here of the baseboards. So there's plenty of opportunity for supports there to hold up the scenic break. There's potential to have some extra storage on this board as well. So that's an idea I'm going to be looking at in the future. Where I've used code 100 on the fiddle yard boards, I will be using this concrete sleepered code 75 track on the scenic section for the main line, and I'm also going to be using some bullhead in the depot as well, so there'll be more of a variety on the track on this layout. And something else I will also be doing to the concrete sleeper track is spacing out the sleepers. So the track laying will certainly be a bit of a long-winded process again, but I've seen it on different layouts on YouTube and on social media and in the flesh, and it's something I've always wanted to try myself. So I will be spacing out the sleepers for the mainline track, and then it will also be matching the bullhead as well. So the next video will most likely be focused on the track laying on the main line or the scenic part of the layout. We'll see how we go, but that's definitely something I'm looking forward to starting. I just want to get trains running again now, in all honesty. That pretty much includes the video for today. I did say it was going to be short. I just wanted to get the rest of the woodwork out of the way, because it's not one of the more fun parts of layout building, and it's pretty much the same thing over and over again. So I didn't really bother filming me constructing all this up. But rest assured that there will be more videos in the future, which will certainly be a lot more fun now that the long-winded processes of model railway building are out of the way. So I'll round the video up there, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and happy modelling.